The summer of 2020, I was back and forth to the GP with different bowel problems, going to the toilet a lot, not being able to hold anything in really, lots of diarrhoea, back and forth, back and forth. They kept telling me I got IBS, Crohn's disease, all these different things. It wasn't until the August of that year that I was seen by a nurse practitioner, having banged on the door for a long time, and he sent me for a colonoscopy, and I was diagnosed with rectal cancer in September 2020. I went to see the oncologist Liz Sherwin, started my journey with the chemo and the radio, and then eventually a huge operation in August 2022. I was at stage 3, and obviously they wanted to stop it getting any further to stage 4 or anything, to try and reduce it before we then looked at the rest of the time that was going to happen basically. My own personal intervention would have made a difference, because I was sent my fit test through and I ignored it. I didn't do it. I was one of those people that put it in the drawer. No, I don't need to do that. Of course I needed to do that, because I actually had bowel cancer at that time, not knowing it. My tumour wouldn't have grown so big, and it wouldn't have affected all the other organs that it did do. My womb, my vagina, different areas of my body down there. Yes, so if I'd gone earlier, perhaps I wouldn't have had to have such a big operation as I had, which was called a posterior pelvic exenteration. A PPE, for those in the know. After my treatment and everything, I wanted to give something back. I wanted to do something, because they've been so nice here, and I've been in a couple of times just to have a coffee, all such lovely people. So she suggested that I write a blog, which I did. So then I also said I'd like to come in and do something, because I'm semi-retired, inverted commas. So I come in here every week, do my bit for them to help Kimmy on her way to going out and talking to people about early diagnosis, and she asked me a lot of questions about things. So yeah, I mean, they've been absolutely brilliant. And sometimes when you're in the situation, you don't want to talk about it all the time at home. You want to try and have a bit of normality, if you can, to make things feel better at home. I think it's very important to talk to somebody else who's had cancer. It doesn't matter where. I think it's hugely important, because unless you've actually experienced it, it's a bit like having a tooth out. Unless you've experienced that, you have no concept of how that feels. Come in here and have a chat with us. I'm no medical, and I can't give you a definitive, this is what's going to happen in your cancer journey, but I can listen and say, this is what happened to me. And I actually spoke to a lady on Saturday who's just about to enter the journey I entered. She actually asked, could she speak to me? And I said, of course. And we had about an hour and a half's conversation, and we're going to keep in touch throughout her journey. It's about talking to someone. We'll make you a cup of coffee, we'll listen to you crying perhaps, if you want to cry, whatever you want to do really. It's just about being listened to. My friends have come in and helped with coffee mornings and things, and we've all sat and talked. It's just about talking and listening. That's the important thing. Don't be frightened of us. Come in, talk to us, sit down and feel better after a cup of tea.